Welcome back to Homestead Healing. This week, I'm whipping up some homemade healthy snacks for my family. With the cost of organic foods constantly on the rise, I've decided to take matters into my own hands by making our snacks from scratch. I can ensure that we're getting only the best ingredients and avoiding unnecessary sugars. Plus, it's a more budget-friendly option for my family of 5. So let's dive in and get started. A couple of weeks ago, my family and I were getting ready for our annual camping trip. I decided to stop by our local grocery store to grab some healthy snacks for my kids. I headed to the organic section, hoping to find some pre-packaged goodies. I did find some snacks on sale, but they only had about 4 to 6 per box. With 3 kids, I would need to buy multiple boxes. As I checked the ingredients, I noticed some questionable stuff and a lot of sugar. Kids shouldn't have more than 25 grams of sugar on average per day, and most of these snacks were already over that limit. So I ditched the pre-packaged snacks and went to the baking aisle. I picked up some ingredients to make my own healthier snacks at a much better price. The first snack I'm going to be making today is sourdough soft pretzels. My kids love these, and this recipe makes about 16 small sourdough soft pretzels. These are great because they are easy to grab and take with us when we go somewhere, and they're a great option to have at home for a snack too. They can also be stored in the refrigerator or in the freezer for about 3 months and easily reheated in the oven when you want some. This recipe is pretty easy as it started the night before. You just mix up the dough the night before and let it ferment overnight. And then in the morning, you will just turn it out onto the counter and cut it into 16 pieces if you want smaller size pretzels, or you can cut it into 8 pieces if you want larger size soft pretzels. So the first thing I do is kind of roll them into a ball, and then you want to roll them into more of a rope shape. And then you do a double twist and fold them over in front. It takes a little bit of practice to get it down. It took me a little while to get it down, but I have now made these about 3 or 4 times, and it's pretty simple now. So these are also pretty similar to bagels in that you boil them before you bake them. So for these, you add 2 tablespoons of baking soda to the water and 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. And then you boil them for about 30 seconds on each side, and they should kind of start to float as you flip them. Once they are all boiled, I brush each one with an egg wash and then sprinkle it with some sea salt. They smell delicious, and my kids were very excited for this afternoon snack today. The next snack that I'm going to be making today are Keifer fruit popsicles. It is still really warm in Idaho, and my kids just love homemade popsicles. So I'm going to be using some milk kefir My son unfortunately got strep throat recently and he needed to be on antibiotics. So I am trying to replace some good bacteria and give him lots of probiotics, and that is what milk kefir is great for. So he doesn't really like the taste of it, so I'm just going to be mixing it with a good amount of honey, which is also healthy and good for them, even though it is sugar. It is a beneficial sugar. So I'm going to be mixing those, layering them with some strawberries and the honey and milk kefir mixture, and I added a little bit of vanilla as well. And I'm also going to be making some with frozen mangoes, and I'm just going to chop those up. My girls really like mangoes, so I'm going to be mixing in some of those as well. I really like this popsicle mold. I just got this one not too long ago, and it works really well. It is silicone, so it's really easy to get the popsicles out, and you use just regular popsicle sticks, so I don't have to go searching for the popsicle stick that the mold came with, which has been our problem in the past. So these are just really great and simple, don't have a lot of parts to them, and they work perfectly. My little helpers came in to help me with the popsicle sticks. It is always fun to get the little ones involved in helping with these little snacks or any kind of baking you're doing in the kitchen. They just love it, and it's a very good experience for everyone. So once those are all in the mold, you pop them in the freezer, and we will check on them tomorrow. The last snack that I will be making today is homemade granola bars. So I have made a few different granola bar recipes, and most of them require that you mix the oats with some peanut butter and nuts or seeds, and then you put them in the refrigerator to chill. And the problem with that is when you take them to go somewhere, they start to melt and they are pretty messy. So I wanted a granola bar recipe that was baked. That would be kind of similar to the granola recipe that I make, but would be more in like a bar shape and just something that we can pack and take with us to go. So I found this recipe and it was just really good. My kids don't like coconut, so I did replace the coconut for pumpkin seeds, which they do like a lot. So I decided to add pumpkin seeds, and I mixed the oats, avocado oil, honey, and the vanilla together. This recipe also called for a 1/3 cup, I believe, of brown sugar. So they are a little bit sweet, but they were so delicious. My husband actually said that I should sell them. They were so good. But I think that we could probably skip the brown sugar in the future because they were more of a treat than a snack. But either way, they were delicious, and I'm definitely going to be making these more often. Once all of the wet and dry ingredients are mixed together, you place them all in a pan. I think I'm using an 8x8 pan, which was probably a little bit thick, but that is just the size that I had. You put it in on a parchment lined pan, and then you use another piece of parchment paper to press it down nice and flat. And you can use like the back of a measuring cup to help press it all down nice and flat to shape it into a nice square. Once it is all nice and flat, you will just bake them until it starts to dry up and it's nice and golden brown. And there we have it. It is ready to cut once it has fully cooled, which it has now. So my kids are eagerly waiting to try this. It smells amazing. So I'm going to cut this into pretty small squares. I think after this, I ended up cutting them a little bit smaller. They were pretty sweet and they are just so good. I actually decided to include one more last snack because it is the next morning and my kids wanted some of the mini sourdough muffins that I make all the time. These are kind of like a mock 2-bite muffins, if you've seen those, but they are healthier and they are with sourdough. And I usually use mini chocolate chips, but I did not have any on hand. So I actually chopped up some chocolate chunks and just used those instead. These are so easy to make, especially if you use a scale and just weigh out the ingredients really fast and mix the wet and dry ingredients together. They are just very, very simple and quick to throw together in the morning. They only bake for about 14 minutes or so. Actually, it's a little less with the mini muffins. This is actually an altered recipe from a full-size recipe. It normally makes 10 full-size sourdough muffins. But when you turn it into a mini muffin, they make closer to about 36, I believe. So, yeah, they go a little bit further, except my kids love them and they probably eat 3 or 4 each a few times a day. They end up sneaking them all day long, but they are so quick and easy. I can just remake more, and I often throw them in the freezer as well. And then we can take these with us and they just will thaw out and be perfect by the time we are ready to use them. The popsicles are now fully frozen and the kids are very excited to try them. So I will pull them all out here and show you what they look like. That is it for today. So if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below. Let me know if you try any of these recipes. I will leave links in the description for all of these recipes and any items that you might be interested in this video as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.